we expect to have the 1.2% burn live on-chain within the next 24 hours. From the information we have retrieved, we can estimate that the annual burn rate for Lunar Classic tokens is anywhere between 700 billion and 1 trillion. And if this 1.2% burn suggestion is adopted, these burn rates are just the beginning of what could be in store. Lunar Classic on-chain volume in the previous 7 days is 1.17 trillion, as you can see on your screen. According to this tweet, if a tax of 1.2% were implemented, the burn rate would be $40 billion per week, $60 billion per month, and $720 billion per year. In addition, this is only what is happening on the blockchain itself. All of the business conducted on the blockchain thus far, off-chain transactions, such those conducted by centralized exchanges like Binance, aren't taken into account here. Now the numbers we have here are very important because these are the concrete numbers we could be seeing. As it says here, the numbers that we are doing with the current on-chain volume and transaction volume. As you can see here in the hundreds of millions to over $1 billion like we've been doing over the past week. Give us an indication that if we just maintain for the next week after the ban is implemented on-chain, we will get 14 billion tokens. Over 60 billion tokens could be created in the first month. Although the majority of Terra Classic volume occurs off-chain, on centralized exchanges like Binance, we expect the on-chain transaction volume to remain around 720 billion tokens in the first year. Binance has decided to stop charging a 1.2% fee on deposits and withdrawals for spot and margin trading. Despite this, it's reasonable to assume that major exchanges like Binance will continue to burn a significant number of tokens every day, perhaps not as many as before, but still in the billions. In addition, I assume that KuCoin, Coinin, and MHC are the ones carrying out the burn for each purchase and sale on their platform. As a result, we may once again anticipate weekly burns in the billions from those exchanges. This makes perfect sense. Just so you know, the burns won't be quite as severe. It is recommended that the daily burn rate be between 50 and 100 billion tokens, but I don't expect it to be very high throughout the entire blockchain. It will take a while, but I expect that the 5 billion or so tokens burned today in on-chain and off-chain transactions will be accounted for within the first few days. Even if we only do this once a week or once a month, the total amount of tokens being burned for Townie each year may be in the billions. And of course, like I said, the whole point of the burn is to begin revitalizing the ecosystem, potentially then repay us to Terra class at USD, enable us to bring back potentially the algorithmic stablecoin model, reduce the circulating supply to make some of these numbers a little more, to make some of these figures a little more appealing to investors, and bring that life back into Terra Classic. If all goes properly, we should drop below the 6 trillion mark in a classic within the first month after a couple of trillion are pulled out of circulation. Among the people who supply the circle, that'll be a huge success. Then, in a dramatic sequence, the value of tokens drops from 5 to 4 to 3 billion. Remember, though, that even while the ban is in effect, some of these staking tokens are being unlocked, which might add tokens back into the supply. But with approximately 1.2 trillion tokens being exchanged per week on the Terra Luna traditional blockchain, this on-chain volume is a lot more than I expected it would be. The more widespread the use of such applications, the less reliance we will have on consolidated exchanges like Binance to carry out the prohibition. To make things easier, we're having the exchanges implement the prohibition mechanically. That's a sample of the figures we're considering at the moment. Potentially significant monetary effects are likely. Just by cutting production, the price of Terra Classic may rise by 20%, 50%, or even 100% in the following year. And that's without accounting for any growth in market capitalization. This 1.2% burn is coming any minute to any hour now as of the date September 25 when I'm recording this video. If we receive the bans that we are looking at with the current data we have right now, and that was what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, within the next day, the burn should become live on the chain. As a result, we will have the most important information necessary to determine the possible size of the burn. As a natural consequence, they would emerge as a result. In the following few days, when the burn numbers become available, I anticipate a great deal of volatility in price predictions. But, as I mentioned before, If we examine the technicals for a lunar classic, we can see that the market is slowly but surely recovering, producing higher lows and attempting to contest the resistance level at the 303 area. And instead of breaking here, we can break above here. And I think that would absolutely cement a bit of an upward surge in the market for Luna Classic, aiming to break through these next levels of resistance on the way back up to this all-time high. But tell me what you think of the exchanges in the following paragraphs. In the coming months and years, it's possible that billions upon trillions of dollars will be wasted. If you enjoyed this video and find drops like the one shown to be fascinating and/or helpful, you can ensure that you never miss another one by subscribing to the channel with video alerts turned on. Just a moment and we'll be there to greet you. Have a nice day, everyone, and thank you for your time.